Hey fourth graders, so we are going to be taking everything that we've learned about angles so far and we're going to be looking to see how we can break angles up and still add them together to equal a total angle. Okay, think about this. If you have a piece of paper and you cut that piece of paper into pieces, but then you piece them all back together, you still have that piece of paper. Or a puzzle, right? If you open up a puzzle, all of the pieces of the picture have been broken up into pieces, but if you add all the pieces together, you get the full picture. The same thing happens with angles. If we break them up, we can still add them together to find a full angle. So here's an example. Here's a rectangular sheet of paper and it's been cut along the dotted line. All right, and the whole corner of the paper is a 90-degree angle. If we cut the pieces into the dotted line, what do you think A plus B is going to equal? Look at it here and look at it here. All right, let's look at some questions about it and see if you're right. Angle A is half, is less than, my bad, is 90 degrees, and angle B is less than 90 degrees, right? They're both less than 90 degrees. So let's describe where the 90-degree angle starts and stops as though it turns from the bottom corner of the uncut sheet of paper. So it starts at the bottom corner and it turns around across angles A and B, right, to get to the other side. I'm not going to write all that just for the sake of time in the video, but what do you think? If this is going across, right, this is angle A right here, and this is angle B. So angle A plus angle B is going to equal 90 degrees. We've simply just taken that paper and cut it in two. It's still 90 degrees if we put it back together. All right, well, let's see how we can apply that, because that's not really what we're going to be doing, is cutting pieces of paper. But look at this. This is a 10-degree angle. A 10-degree, you can split any angle up. All right, 1 degree is the smallest that you can do, but the 10-degree angle is made up of 10 1-degree angles. If I counted them, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 10 1-degree angles. We can decompose it in different ways, right? 6 degrees plus 4 degrees equals 10 degrees. 7 degrees plus 3 degrees equals 10 degrees. Let's look at this question. Is it possible to decompose, remember when we decompose, you're breaking something up, decompose a 100-degree angle into two 60-degree angles? Well, let's think about that. 60 degrees plus 60 degrees. What does that equal? It equals 120 degrees. So no, because when you add 60 plus 60, you get 120 degrees, not 100 degrees. Okay, so here I'm explaining my thinking. You guys have to do that sometimes on your math questions. So that would be an example of how I would explain it. I tested it, and then I explained what I saw. All right, so let's go a little bit further with this. So far, not too hard, right? So, right here we have a word problem. Waylon and Andres are playing a game where the goal is to fill a tray with 3 pieces of the same triangular game pieces. There are no gaps and no overlaps. What is the measure of the bottom angle of the tray? Okay, we know that one game piece is 50 degrees, and there's 3 of them. So here we have a picture of it. We have a 50 degrees piece, a 50 degrees piece, and a 50 degrees piece. And I want to know what this whole thing is going to be. Well, the 3 50-degree pieces compose the whole angle. So really I'm doing 50 degrees plus 50 degrees, plus 50 degrees, right? You might already even know the answer. What does that equal? Well, 50 plus 50 plus 50 equals 150 degrees. Every time I want to write a 0, I go to write a degrees symbol. That's what happens when they're similar. All right, We could also use a protractor to show the same thing, right? Here's one 50-degree angle, here's another 50-degree angle, and here's another 50-degree angle, and you see we end at 150 degrees. So either way, we got 150 degrees. I think adding them together is easier, but if you want to show it on a protractor, that's another strategy that you can use. Okay. So let's look at another example. It says the angle between each spoke of the wheel on Sophia's bicycle measures 15 degrees. Sophia puts reflectors on two spokes as shown to the right. What is the measure of the angle between the two spokes? So she puts a reflector here and she puts a reflector here. Every single one is 15 degrees. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. She has 15 7 times. I'm actually going to multiply because I don't want to do 15 plus 15 plus 15 7 times. That's a lot. Okay? But I can multiply because I'm doing repeated addition. 7 times 5 is 35. Oops. 35. Regroup the 3. 7 times 1 is 7 plus 3 more is 10. So it would be 105 degrees. Okay? Now here it says Gianna sets 2 floor tiles as shown. Here's one of them, it's 53 degrees, and here's another one that's 108 degrees. I want you to pause right now and see if you can figure out what the total angle of the 2 floor tiles is. All right, you should have added those two together. That's what we're doing. 8 plus 3, 8, 9, 10, 11. We group the 1. 1 plus 5 is 6. And 1 plus nothing is 1. So it equaled 161 degrees. And you can always look at that and see, does that make sense? Well, it's a obtuse angle, 161 degrees would make sense for an obtuse angle. So that answer makes sense. Okay? All right. And that's it, guys. That's really what we're doing in this lesson. So all you're going to be doing is working on taking pieces of angles, just like this, and adding the pieces together to get the total. All right? You guys have got it. If you have any questions, let your math teacher know, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.